Good afternoon. Are we finally working? Apologies, that took much longer than I anticipated it would do. And I'm just going to copy my link to this now into my Facebook page, and then I will get right with you. I'll apologise in advance for the noise of the boiler behind me. It keeps coming on and off. Haven't worked out how to get rid of that yet. There you go. So yeah, this is welcome to my first ever YouTube live. As you can tell, I haven't worked out exactly what I'm going to be saying yet. I'm toying on and off with the idea of doing something like this to make sense of the world and the current state of affairs. In light of you know what, I'm not going to say the word because I'm sick of hearing it. But yeah. Crazy times. So there's, of course, on the one hand, we've got good news. All of the, I believe it's all of the restrictions have been dropped. So, you no longer have to wear your masks. Well, that's the main one I can think of. I'm just trying to keep up and think of what all the other restrictions were. I would assume it's, the sort of social distancing ideas, whether that was really still a thing or not. COVID passes, that's the one. Right, yeah. See, I've said the word now. Of course I need to, because it will make sense. So, yeah, they're sort of scrapping the idea of that. Although, let's be honest, I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work. What it would appear the government have done well, or however you look at it, they've kept us under some form and some set of restrictions for so long that they've left it up to private companies to come up with their own policies, their own rules. The way you can look at that there is that they don't need to say that there's any restrictions anymore. They don't need to enforce anything because companies are going to do it themselves. That's where we're at with that. I don't know about any of you guys watching. I decided a little while ago that I would live my life fearlessly. That's not to say that I'm not acknowledging that there is a danger of contracting something, getting ill, passing it on. But I think it's worth putting in context that certainly this time of year, we're in the winter time. Generally, respiratory viruses are doing their thing. They're circulating. They're making people ill. Most common one of all, of course, being the cold. So you'll have that mixing and circulating. The flu, which, funnily enough, hasn't been mentioned the last couple of years, but unless it's done a complete disappearing act, I would imagine it's still about. So, so there's that. Of course, you've got to acknowledge that people are going to get ill at this time of year. Unfortunately, we're going to lose people to illnesses. They're going to succumb to them more so at this time of year. However, again, it's worth putting in context that happens every winter. It has done for as long as we've been aware, for as long as we know these viruses have existed. It has been happening. Now, don't get me wrong. Every single death is tragic. Yep. Every single one of those people, they're not just a single person. They are a son, a daughter, they're a husband, they're a wife, they're a cousin, they're close friends. I totally understand that. And yeah, it might sound silly to have to clarify that, but I'd seen a gentleman that put out a video, just looking at some data shared on the Office for National Statistics, and one of the accusations levelled at this person almost straight away was, you don't care. I'm paraphrasing here, but it's acting as though the deaths were not tragic, that they weren't horrible, and that's just not the case. That to me sounds, it's a sort of pigeonholing thing, isn't it? Of course, you have the most obvious one at the minute is anyone who dares to ask a question about one particular narrative that's been portrayed. You ask a question, you're immediately put in one category. The most pertinent of which would be vax versus anti-vax. Now, that is all I'm saying on that. I don't believe it's going to do me any good. Certainly within my first ever YouTube live video to try and go any further into that. But there's that. There's pitting one side against the other. And in one camp they're thinking that the other person is doing bad and are selfish, and then in that camp they're thinking that the others are, and it's there's all sorts of squabbling between those two groups, and that's a shame. For myself, certainly, I just what it's done for me, the whole process up until now, is just sort of given me a big curiosity as to how it's affected the sort of collective psyche, how it's kind of weaved its way into our into our daily lives, and I'm always up for good, healthy discussion, healthy debate. The wonderful thing about those two things is that you don't have to disagree. You could be at complete polar opposites of the spectrum, and that's what makes any form of discussion and debate interesting, because they're not based on you agreeing on everything. I mean, if you agreed on every single little thing, every single little microcosm of life, then you wouldn't have the chance for these massive long conversations. You wouldn't have the chance to have the rise of the podcast, where the shortest ones of which are at least an hour long, and the longest God knows upwards of 2.5, 3 hours. You just wouldn't be able to have that if everyone agreed on anything. If everyone agreed on everything. That just would not be possible. I'm only speaking for myself here, but for me, that's the exciting thing about, you disagree on that, let's have a discussion about it. And following on from that, the idea, I believe, of those discussions is, you enter into them with an open mind, because if you sort of going over the preconception that my viewpoint is correct, my opinions are fact, and nothing can ever change my mind, then that's going to lead to conflict, right? You should certainly enter into those kind of discussions, I believe, with an open mind, and that's just open to all different viewpoints, right? what we must realise is each of us has our own viewpoint of the world, based on exactly our own experiences growing up. So no one person shares those experiences with anyone else. Even if, for example, you had a group of 10 of you attending some sort of event and something happened, to all 10 of you, every single one of you is going to have your own version of that, right? You're all going to see it in a different way. Say you view an event happening outside of the group, and you all happen to be in different positions, right? It's just as simple as that. All right, so there you're literally going to be seeing stuff from a different place, a different point of view. But I think I'm making sense of that there. So yeah, that's the point of that, I think, and of debate. And yeah, the idea. Well, I don't believe the idea should be to go in to think, right, I'm definitely going to change this person's mind. If you both enter into it as open-minded as one another, then yeah, like I said, you're open to those different points of view. And what personally I found very exciting about these kinds of interactions is, I've got my preconceived notions, or I've got my ideas of my viewpoint, my view of the world, my view of what's going on around me. And then if that person says, well, how about, have you ever looked at it this way? And that's great. And then suddenly, if if you don't understand, then you can say, so can you elaborate? Can you explain? And yeah, just do it with respect for their worldview, right? And you never know, you might actually go away with a different outlook. I mean, not completely. So yeah, I believe the ideal is, or you're going to have one of two options, I suppose. If you kind of boil it down to one of two options, you could be having you could be having a back and forth. You could be having a debate about something. Lockdown measures, for example, you could be having a debate about the effectiveness of those. And one person is vehemently against, they disagree with it to the core. The other person supports it, and can see that there's some merits in it, and whilst acknowledging that there perhaps are some bad points to it, but for the most part they agree with it. So yeah, if you enter into that debate, then perhaps if you're open-minded enough, then you'll either both go away more confident in your own views. That person that mostly supports them could have put their points across, and the person completely against them could go, yeah, everything that you're saying backs up my point of view, and I believe I'm right. This person that's completely against it could explain everything that backs up their point of view, and might not change this person's mind at all. So you've not lost anything there. I was going to say you haven't gained anything, but I suppose you have. You've gained the experience of a kind of of a respectful debate, a respectful sort of coming together of ideas and sharing of your worldviews, right? Or those same two people could come together, and this person, the one that's mostly in support of them, could say something that makes this person suddenly look at everything in a completely different light, come at it from a different angle entirely, and make them kind of question that. And I think perhaps we've got to a point where people think that that's I don't know. I don't want to say dangerous. I've said it now. Yeah, perhaps they think that that's sort of a threat to their way of life, their sort of general sense of being, even. I might be overstating that there, but I think the point I'm trying to get across there is that there seems to have been fostering of this culture that, yeah, or I'm not going to even entertain an alternate point of view because I don't know. I'm worried about what I might hear. I'm worried that it might expose a flaw in my own view of what's been happening. But yeah, I just feel that perhaps you should, not be afraid of that. I mean, it's valid. I believe it's fear. It's one of our primal emotions, right? That drives you to, drives you on. So yeah, you can cower from it there and go, oh no, there's a different point of view. Keep that over there. Or what I believe is most desirable is you embrace that, and you kind of try and look at it from the outside. Oh, what am I worried about? Oh, I'm worried that actually everything I think currently, I may have got wrong. But that's fine. We're human, and we base opinions upon, as I alluded to earlier in the video, we base opinions on our own experiences, on our lived experience, right? I'm sure we've heard that term mentioned many times now, and perhaps just dismissed it as, don't really know what that means. But that's, again, like I said earlier in the video, every single person, as in every single human being on the planet, is living their own version of events, right? They're viewing it through. They're not. They're obviously literally viewing it through their eyes and seeing things. And like I said, the most obvious example of differing views is literally a different view. This person's seeing it from a building up here, that person's seeing it from the ground. Of course, they're going to see different things. But not only that, they're it goes deeper than that, and it's their upbringing. Their environments that they grow up in, how little or how much they're nurtured, right? It's so much more than that. I mean, I'd love to go into it. I don't think I even have the capacity to quite understand. I think that's beyond probably my. See, I can't even think of the word. I think that's beyond my understanding currently. But yeah, just to go touch on sort of how it's made me feel personally. I'm honestly trying not to make this all about myself, but I feel it kind of helps for the context of the video. What's happening is, for me, it's given just this hunger for knowledge, like of all sorts, and a fascination with the human psyche and psychology, and how it can be manipulated, and how, and what affects it. It's kind of led me on to. I'm slowly compiling a massive list of new books that I'd like to get, and a good number of them are psychology books. Of trying to kind of get under the get into the human mind. I'll be honest with you, and that's daunting, and it is. I don't know what I will discover of that, or even of myself, really. Perhaps one day I'll have some epiphany and be like, oh yeah, when this happened, I was subject to this phenomena. I guess that probably one of the main impetusi. I don't know what the plural of that is. If you see this and you want to comment, please let me know what the plural of impetus is. One of the main impetuses behind this was to just I don't know, yeah, give us sort of an air of positivity that I don't know, you use if you still find yourself kind of surviving in what's going on and you're struggling with it, then yeah, try and find a purpose. Yeah, like I said, one of the main things for this is just everything's just built up in my head. There's only so much I can say to someone I've met up with before. I think, I've said, I've talked to their head off here, and I'm at risk of kind of alienating them. To add to that, though, however, I do believe it's also important to kind of find. This is going to sound really cliche, but it's find your tribe, right? So for me, this has made me realise, okay, I've got a much different view of what's happening now than I did at the beginning of what. And that's through change of circumstances. I came from working in a care setting to now no longer being in that care setting. Therefore viewing it literally now as an outsider from that, whilst being in that, you see things a certain way, and your motivations are based on, they certainly should be, I believe, working in that environment, based on the people that you're supporting, and not to mention, your colleagues also. It's not just, again, I'm talking from my lived experience of that here. I certainly wasn't going there and just thinking solely of myself. Made a point of engaging with the people that I was supporting, engaging with the colleagues that I worked with, and creating just I don't know, a good a good environment, happy environment, positive, upbeat. Certainly, with what was going on during. I was going to say most of it, was pretty much all of 2020. I realised early on that was important. But I mean, I feel that I brought that to the job role anyway. Previous to that, I just was more conscious of it. I'm amazed. I've managed to keep up the many different diverting tangents of what I've spoke about so far, and not lose my place. Although I'm just thinking now, I might have slightly lost where I was going with this. I guess actually, I certainly recognise when I'm talking to another person that it's much easier for me to lose my place, because you're conscious of not interrupting their train of thought and the points that they're making, and I'm so eager sometimes to get those points out that I can almost cut off the end of their points. So yeah, anyone I've come across that I do that to is not intentional. I hope you realise. I'm going to take this opportunity now just to take a breather, not just for myself, for anyone that's happens to watch this back. I hope you do. Anyway, I will share the link on my Facebook and my Twitter. If you find it interesting, great. If you want to comment on it, even better. And then even better still, if you like and subscribe, I guess you can, on my channel, then then please do. I don't think I'd ever be saying those words. I'm constantly watching these, and everyone's saying, yeah, like and subscribe. And so, yeah, if you'd like to do that, then great. Also, I do sincerely hope that this boiler isn't interrupting us too much. Trouble is, this is looking around, this is probably one of the best places for me to have this set up, because it's a very small one bedroom flat, and this is a breakfast bar that this stuff is sitting on, and yeah, I've got no other surface for it to go on that would really work and that I would be comfortable sitting in. So yeah, and as you can tell, it's my lovely kitchen area, which needs a bit of a tidy up behind me. Yeah, well, God, I've rambled on for nearly half an hour here already. I think I've probably made all the points I want to make currently with stuff that's going on. I'm sure once I log off, there'll probably be a whole lot more stuff that crops up. Perhaps I'll use this as my way of getting those thoughts out and into the world, and for my own peace of mind, really. But if it's good for you as well, then that's awesome. That's not my end goal necessarily. Mainly it's for myself. But yeah, if it helps even one person to just think, oh, things aren't so bad. There's other people out there thinking the same as me. Then awesome. I'll be very happy with that. So there concludes, I think, my first ever YouTube live stream. It's been a pleasure. I do hope that someone watches this. I do hope that you enjoy it. I hope that it helps you find some sort of semblance of normality, I guess, or yeah, I don't really know. Like I said, if it helps one person to just make sense of something, then great. I will leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, listening. If you want to share it, please do. Share the link, and as I said, if you also want to like and subscribe to my channel, then that would be amazing. I will probably go away and work on the channel and get some ideas and see what's what. But yes, thank you ever so much. Take care. Yeah, much love.